Welcome back. An advertisement placed in local dailies by the Department of Inland Revenue, DIR, advising Bahamians of the department's right to power of sale concerning properties that are in arrears of real property tax is causing a stir. On Thursday, the DIR in a public notice says, come June of this year, the department will begin power of sale enforcement exercises in accordance with the Real Property Tax Act. That ad did not sit well with chairman of the Free National Movement, Dr. Dwayne Sands, who in a voice note circulating widely on social media blasted the Davis administration, accusing the government of what he called a money grab.
What they're basically saying is if you haven't paid your real property tax for the year, they could sell your property. Now that's whether you're talking about your home, your business, or your land. Now, there's some serious stuff because the government could owe you for 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 8 years, etc. And God help you if you could get your money. But let you be late 6 months with your real property tax now, they say they could sell your property. And they putting you on notice. Don't mind it's on page 19 of the paper. Don't mind that it's in the corner. Don't mind they haven't had the fortitude, intestinal fortitude to come out and discuss this with the public. They come in for the money. They want their money. Render unto Caesar what is Caesar's. And so, ladies and gentlemen, what we are watching is this money grab, this insatiable drive to get as much money out of your pocket. A tax here, a tax there. Come get this money, come take this money, and then we'll spend it how we see fit.
However, Foreign Affairs Minister Fred Mitchell says the advertisement was inartfully written and gave rise to misinterpretation. He also accused the F&M chairman of being an alarmist in his voice note. Minister Mitchell, in a statement last evening, says Dr. Sands ought to have checked before jumping to false conclusions. Minister Mitchell says the Economic Affairs Minister and the Finance Minister have given him assurance that the idea is to seek to collect monies owed from non-Bahamian landowners and entities who have tied up lands for development but owe substantial taxes. Minister Mitchell says he has asked the tax authorities to clarify this position by releasing a corrected advertisement. National Security Minister Wayne Munro addressing the circumstances surrounding the alleged accidental release and deportation of a Jamaican inmate. Minister Munro suggests this mishap could be due to faults in the system.
I was notified by Commissioner Clare that there was a Jamaican national who ended up going to 2 separate courts, one for an overstaying offense and one for a firearms offense. So he came up to prison with to the institution with 2 warrants, one for the overstaying, one for the firearms. He completed his sentence on the overstaying, and he was then released from the facility because that warrant was spent. He ought not to have been released because there was another warrant for the firearms. And consequent to him being released for overstaying, immigration then deported him back to his home country. The institution Internal Affairs Department is investigating it. Basically, the investigation is focusing on did it happen deliberately or whether it was just a slip-in process.
This discovery was made when 25-year-old Ramon Horton did not show up to his gun possession trial on April 27th, which was being heard by Chief Magistrate Joyanne Ferguson Pratt. Munro says officials are now looking into upgrading the system to prevent situations like this from happening again.
So you still have pieces of paper with people drawing lines through them so names can't be added. And then you come up here with 2 of them. The records are largely manual paper. So we have to consider in this age, in this digital age, where you have an app that can write a whole essay for you, a whole book for you, we have to update our facilities. If you've ever been into maximum security, if you've ever been into some parts of this facility, you will see that a lot of updating is necessary.
Now the question posed to the minister is if the Jamaican national will be required to return to the Bahamas to answer to his crimes, as firearms offenses are extraditable offenses. Minister Munro says once the man is located, prosecutors will seek to have him returned to the Bahamas. The government is continuing to move forward with elements of the anti-corruption bill. Just last month, the Ombudsman Bill 2023 was tabled in the House of Assembly, which is a function of anti-corruptible legislation. Attorney General Senator Ryan Pinder telling reporters the government is proud of the progress being made and that they are looking at other pieces of legislation as well.
And that legislation was updated to reflect the Paris Principles, which are United Nations sanctioned principles on human rights and human rights protection. So we're very excited and proud of that piece of legislation. We are working with the IDLO. You would have known the Minister of Foreign Affairs just signed a country agreement with the IDLO in Rome. The IDLO is providing technical support on a few other pieces of legislation for anti-corruption. We're looking at a whistleblower protection piece of legislation. We're also looking at a complete revamp of the Public Disclosure Act that will incorporate many more features of anti-corruption into that, and we're also looking at the possibility of preparing a code of conduct for employees of the civil
Under the
service.
proposed legislation, the Ombudsman would be responsible for promoting public awareness of fundamental rights and freedoms to combat all forms of discrimination or corruption through the provision of information and education. The Ombudsman would also advise the government on its reporting obligations under international human rights instruments and on the content of those reports. Described as a thrilling dining experience of Latin fusion cuisine, Carnival celebrated its groundbreaking today, which kicks off a 15,000 square feet restaurant offering indoor and outdoor spaces. Minister of Tourism, Deputy Prime Minister Chester Cooper, says Paradise Island is the ideal location for Carnival's first expansion outside their founding restaurant in Chicago.
What I like about these new developments here is the strengthening of the product here on Paradise Island. And I noticed it's now being referred to as downtown Paradise Island. And I hope folks on Bay Street, the real downtown, will soon be inspired to also invest millions and millions of dollars in the infrastructure here. I will challenge them that downtown Paradise Island has come to take over, and they shouldn't let it happen. But all of the developments we see, whether it's in Nassau, mainland, or whether it's here on Paradise Island, is good for the tourism. It's good for our way of life, and it's a great opportunity always as a resident and citizen of the Bahamas to be able to go out on the town, if you will, with your family and your friends. And enjoy the good life, as it were.
Expected to be completed in the spring of 2024, the $10 million eatery located in the Hurricane Hole Super Yacht Marina. Expected to be completed in the spring of 2024, the $10 million eatery located in the Hurricane Hole Super Yacht Marina is expected to seat some 350 people. President of Sterling Global Advisory Services, Kayla's Rose, says Carnival's investment in Hurricane Hole is another milestone for the Bahamas. And that'll do it, folks, for your JCN Evening News. Once again, it's a pleasure to have you join us. Join us next time as well.
This segment of the news has been brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.